Wellfully was one of our recipients. They received a bit over $8,000. And I have Burke with me today and want him to share a little bit about some of the great work that they're doing with the resources there.
All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity. For us, we're a residential facility, and we have 3 programs. One is a group home, which would be similar to like an old school orphanage. It's for kids that don't have a safe home to live in, and we're their surrogate home until other arrangements can be made. And some of the kids are here for days and some for years, depending on the circumstances. Pre-COVID, the group home kids would have breakfast here, and then we'd run them to school, and it would be whatever school they came from. And if they were from outside the area, they'd go to East Middle School or Central High School. And since COVID happened, all the schooling has been put on us to coordinate with the different schools. And I know that parents out in the community have found some new challenges with their own kids in doing homework and all that sort of stuff. So it was a new venture for us. So if those of you who have teenagers and had to take on some new responsibilities school-wise, we face similar things, but with 30 different kids. And so our first obstacle was trying to get that up and running. And I didn't like algebra the first time I did it, and I'm not real excited about helping or teaching or relearning algebra. So that was the first challenge that we faced. And one of the things, it wasn't related to the COVID funding that United Way did, but they were instrumental in helping us deal with our school problem. So United Way connected us with the Black Hills Energy, and Black Hills Energy had a bunch of iPads that they weren't using. It was something that they used out in the field and kind of ended that program. So they had available 30 iPads that they gave to us. And so the iPads were huge, and it solved a whole multitude of problems. A lot of the online schooling that took place, they all had different programs, and each teacher had different things, and we didn't have the capability to service 30 kids with regard to their school needs. So the iPads helped us. Each kid could have their own iPad, and they could do their homework, and they could have Zoom meetings with some of their teachers. They could turn in assignments and all that sort of stuff. And then the iPads were also available for family meetings. We had to limit our family interaction because of the COVID thing. Although we did maintain some of it. Some of the kids were from various communities, and so we were able to do FaceTime and Zoom meetings with kids and families, which that's a critical part of doing treatment and keeping that relationship going and overcome some obstacles that got them here in the first place. And then we're also able to do telebehavioral health. So some of the kids that leave from the other programs were able to continue programming via telebehavioral health. So that was huge for us. So we had the family visit issue, the school issue, and then getting up and running with regard to telebehavioral health. And we wouldn't have been able to do that without United Way and the donation by Black Hills Energy. The special funding, that 8,000 plus funding, was to deal with a new issue that was starting to form, and it's kind of a work in progress, to be honest. We were able to buy some group chairs and some bunk beds and mattresses and all that sort of stuff. In the state, when the number of kids kind of ebbs and flows with different circumstances, but when the state became overloaded with kids and they didn't have viable places to accommodate those kids, they'd oftentimes send kids out of state, and those doors have been shut. And then there's been a whole ebb and flow of different issues with regard to other residential treatment facilities, in that some had to close down because there'd be a staff person or a youth that came down with COVID, and they had to shut the doors or not allow any new admits. Those out-of-state placements have been eliminated. And so what I wanted to do, and with the help of United Way, we're able to do is to be ready for those changes. So now we have 8 new beds, 8 new ability to handle eight new kids should the need arise. And it also allowed us to move our timetable up in having well, one of the things that's been a work in progress is a 8-bed unit for girls that have more serious issues. Maybe they're suicidal or they have a mental health diagnosis. And now we were able to get our staffing up, and now with donation by United Way, we're able to have the logistical stuff. We need beds and chairs and all that sort of stuff. So now this month we're starting to do our trial basis for that new unit, and it's the hope early to mid-June that we'll be able to go live with that. So the funding that you all gave us gives us the ability to be there, and it's a little bit of a work in progress, and hopefully we'll be able to go live with that come the middle of June. Our third unit that we have is dealing with drug and alcohol issues. That's a little bit problematic. You know, right now, most of our referrals actually came from schools, and with schools closed down and the reservation closed down, I'm really quite worried about there being a lot of stuff going on, but nobody knowing what's going on, or we're unable to connect to that demand that I think is going to be hitting any day with regard to substance use and misuse. The kids have more free time. The kids have been locked in, they're bored. The kids have more limited access to their friends. Families are under more stress. So I have a real fear that there's a whole bunch of stuff as it relates to teens and drug use and abuse going on. So this will also give us the ability to, when we make those connections, either through law enforcement or Monument Health, we'll be able to accommodate that too. We're starting to see a little bit of that kind of emerge, but it's just starting to emerge. But the complexities of the kids that are dealing with substance use is, well, the few that have come to the door, it is really complex. There's suicide going on, family dynamics that are more challenging, and then the stuff that they're using, primarily meth, is increased. So I think that the biggest gift with regard to that COVID funding has been, one, connecting us to some more resources, and then being able to be ahead of the game for, I think, this pinned up demand and increased need. So thank you for providing those resources, and thank you for helping us overcome our school issues. Both of those things have been equally very helpful. And the other thing that United Way, and to be honest, the community of Rapid has been able to do through the websites and some of the other foundations, everybody's kind of been working together. And so every week there's a phone call, and it addresses us, actually several phone calls that address the needs and also inform everybody as to what everybody else is doing. As like this virtual bus tour will inform the community about what United Way organizations have been doing and are doing. Those collaborative groups are kind of keeping everybody up to date as to what resources are out there. And also, if someone comes up with the need, the foundations and United Way are going, hey, I can help, I can do this, I can do that. And then other organizations are able to go, well, I have some capacity here and I can do this and do that. And so I think as a community, we're addressing these daily changing situations in a timely manner. And I think we're able to leverage what all we're doing.
Yes, thank you so much. And so many good points made there, Burke. And again, one thing I do also want to mention to people listening is that Wellfully is one of our funded agencies in our typical campaign season, one of our 50 funded agencies. And we're just so thankful to get to work with organizations like Wellfully, who are providing really unique resources to our area. I mean, one thing that you mentioned in your points was just how relevant and strong the need is for mental health services surrounding children, and not just at this time, even though it is very important. I mean, it's something you guys have been seeing way before this is your house. So it's definitely something that's very important, very needed in the community. So we're very thankful to Wellfully and the services you provide.